One, two. 1, 2. Yes, people. Yes, we are live. We're live and direct. Yes, everything is coming through. Everything is all fine, live and direct. So, welcome back to another stream. It's another stream on FL Studio. Sadly, it's not working on the remix that we was working on. Today I want to showcase to you guys another remix that I've been working on, and I'm really impressed with this remix. I'm really impressed with just how this remix has turned out in general, and just as a whole, this remix has just actually really worked out well for me. So this tune, as the title of the stream says, this is a remix of a tune that I will never release. So there's like certain tunes that you just don't release them. Like this track that we've done, that there's been a fair few remixes of this tune. Don't get me wrong. However, the artist who did the original to this track is not a big fan of people like just doing a remix, and it's not something that I'd like just to remix and put out there. So this unfortunately is just gonna be a tune that I am just gonna play in sets for myself. It's just my own little version of this tune, and I wasn't even going to stream it originally to showcase it, but because I've done some quite cool things within the remix, I thought, you know what, I'll do a little showcase of it, but I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'm not gonna release it. If I do, if I am allowed to at least do something with it, then I would probably put it up as just like a little free download or something. But like I say again, it's not something that I'm really too fussed about doing, because it's one of them tunes where if it's not remixed right for people's liking, because the track is so legendary in itself, people won't want to sort of like really have anything to do with it, and they'll just slate it compared to the original. But a few people have done some versions of it over the years. Some have been released, and some have just been like free downloads. And I know the likes of like Rob IYF. I know he's done a version of this track himself, and Brett Cooper has also tackled this track as well. So there's a famous track. I'm not sure if it's one of the producer's most famous tracks, but it's definitely up there with one of his, with one of his big time tracks. And we're talking about the legend, the hardcore producer, Scott Brown. So Scott Brown did a tune that has a very catchy piano riff, and the tune is called Elysium. And a lot of people, if you are into hardcore, you will have heard of Elysium. So he did a tune called Elysium, and it has a really catchy like piano melody that goes like do 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 do. It was a hardcore tune that got released on Evolution Records. It's like an old school tune, and it would just essentially has a really nice, like I say, has that real nice piano hook. It was an instrumental tune. There was no vocals to it. And then sort of a little bit later on down the line, Ultra Beat decided that he would do a remix of this track, and he did like a Clubland version and called it Elysium I Go Crazy. And there was like a bit more of a club sort of style to it, and it had like vocals to it. And then there was Special D, who is formerly known for doing one of his all-time big tracks, Come With Me, who also did a version of Elysium in itself. And there was a website that I got the stems from, and the stems were the stems for the Psy for the Special D and Scott Brown version, sorry. And it just came with like the MIDI, it came with some vocals, and it came with some like pads and sort of like string notes, like sort of already kind of laid out. And all I essentially had to do was just like put a nice sound on them. Essentially, it was just like dragging midis in, essentially like MIDI pads. There was like MIDI piano notes, and then there was like the MIDI lead itself. Now, Scott Brown is one of my all-time favourite producers. He's just an absolute legend when it comes to producing, and he was very good at going back and taking like little samples out of records and a couple of words out of hip-hop tracks and making them into little loops. And one of the well-known ones in Elysium was this little sample here, and it actually says "say," and there's basically what it comes from is it comes from a track called "Ooh La La," and it's an old sort of like it's an old tune. I can't really fully remember what style it is, but it's like it's just got a real nice sort of like like little bit of backing music to it. It goes like "ooh, say la la" and stuff like that. And Scott Brown in the original version just literally sampled this little "say," and it just did a and just basically sampled that in his version of the track. So my version is a hardcore version under my alias Mad Ash, and just essentially cut the story short, I've kind of done like a little bit of a mix of kind of like the old original Scott Brown version with a little bit of a feel to that sort of I Go Crazy sort of Clublandy. So I've gone for kind of like a old sort of Scott Brown hardcore stroke, a kind of HDID sort of like Styles and Breeze sort of squaddy kind of remix, like a recon. So something, like that just sounds a little bit sort of like Clublandy, but kind of like hardcore at the same time. Now there's a little something I've done in this track that I'm really proud of. It's a new thing in FL Studio that I've actually learned to do, and all I'm gonna say is you can just see there's a little thing here with a line that drops and then goes back up, and that does something in this track. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut up waffling on, and I'm gonna play you this track, or I'm gonna play you at least some of this track, and we'll talk about some of the sounds that I've used in the track. And as always, you can let me know what you think. I do apologise about this, guys. I think I've mentioned this in previous streams before, but I'm essentially running on a cracked version of the Korg M1, and the cracked version puts me into like a demo mode. So I get 20 minutes of the Korg M1, and then it tells me that the demo is it essentially tells me that the demo has ran out, and by the full piano. But all I have to actually do is just like the way to reset it is I just essentially drag a different plugin in the place of where the Korg M1 would have been, and then I just put the Korg M1 back in, and then what I essentially do is I just put the piano sound that I was using back on, and then it will just essentially give me another 20 minutes. So it's a little bit of a pain. It does get a little bit annoying, but I want you to hear like the full potential of this track, and with them pianos missing, especially within the breakdown, you're not gonna hear the full potential of the track. And I don't, I want, like I say, you to hear the full potential. So I'm gonna kick it off from here again. Yeah, so I'm gonna sort of stop it there because it kind of like it just sort of like repeats. So then like that chorus will come back in, and then it's just the outro really. But yeah, this is my version of the Scott Brown Elysium, but it's actually the Special D, the Scott Brown and Special D version of Elysium. And one thing that you'll note that is why this one version's different is you've got that little like MC guy that says, "Are you ready for some crazy love?" And just real cheesy, really, but it just adds something a little bit different to my version. I've heard a lot of remixes, and they've either just remixed the original Scott Brown version, or they've just remixed the Ultra Beat version. And I just essentially thought that this is just quite a good version to do, and it sounds good, and I just quite like it. So what do I really like about this track? One thing I really like is I do like the bass. I love the bass sound. So it starts here. So it actually starts on a really low octave. So some of my other tracks, like on some of the Squaddy Who Are You, you know, the bass octave starts right up here. This one, it's got that like real sort of lower, sort of grittier sound, and that was kind of the sound that Scott Brown had in his basses. Them real sort of, you know, real powerful hardcore basses, but they weren't as such like, you know, they were up there like that, like some of the Squad E tracks were, and the more Clublandy style tracks. And obviously, you know, it's in key with the melody and stuff. So, but I really like the sound of it. One thing that I'm not too keen on regarding the track is I put a little sample here that actually says Elysium, and if I just play it, it was actually taken out of another track. Where it was actually taken out of another track. I literally cut it out of someone else's remix because I couldn't find a clear vocal that just said Elysium. It doesn't say it on the Scott Brown and Special D version, and you know, the vocals only literally say what they say. So you know, I thought, how am I going to do this? You know, how are we going to make this work essentially? And I just decided the only way was to essentially sample it from the track itself, you know, from another track, and I took it actually from the Rob IYF remix. I think it's Rob IYF and Nobody. Let's have a look. It says IYF and No, so I'm guessing it would be IYF and Nobody, but essentially I took it from their version because I had it on the PC. It was just a quick way, I suppose, to get you know, the sound, you know, that I wanted, that was going to already be sort of at the same tempo as well, without having to speed it up or slow it down. So yeah, but I'm not like the best keen of it, and I only use it here. I don't use it really anywhere else throughout the track because I don't think it sounds good. But like, you can get away with like just having it here, but if you're just repeating it all the time, you know, you're gonna sort of just hear that sort of bad sound. But when you play it here like this, if I just, it kind of just works there, and it kind of like works and complements this little fill effect, which is that one there, and then you've still got that say as well. So you've got the say that is that's doing this at the moment. So if I just do this, it's so it's just essentially doing that at the moment. So it's just going say, which is quite good. What I do like is the patterns that I've done with the says. So it goes like. So I've done like a little bit of a different pattern with the way it's saying say. I think in the Scott Brown one it goes like do say say say. So I've done like So I've gone say, almost kind of like you're sort of building up, like you'd have it on a build up and it go like say. Do you know what I mean? So I did like a little bit of a pattern just to make the says sound a little bit different. So if we move on over here, we've got the first introduction, if you like, of the melody, which here I just essentially do this. So there's that, and then so I do like just a little bit of like cutting the melody like in and out, so it kind of just goes like, rather than just having the full thing. And I think that does happen on the Scott Brown and Elysium version, you know, the Scott Brown and the Ultra Beat version. And there was like a HTID, like I think it was on one of the Clubland Extreme Hardcore versions. And there was a version of Elysium that was done for that CD, and I'm sure that does like a similar thing, which was another sort of inspiration of kind of like where I wanted to base this sort of like remix on. I wanted the remix to be sort of based a little bit from inspiration on that version as well. We've got some lead chords. So I like that. And then we've got this piano as well that is just here. So we've got that as well. And then we've got these, which sound like this. You don't hear this too much, but it's in there. So it's just like a little sound there that just is in there and complements just something a little bit different. And then of course we've got the bass line, we've got crashes, and again some more crashes here. We've got our normal kicks, claps, hats, rides. You know, it's just a kick. There's nothing to really. I mean, it sounds like this. It's got a nice punch to it actually. And then obviously down here we've got the actual breakdown itself, which comes into this nice section where you've got the rap vocal itself, which is just here. So if I just...
Are you ready for some crazy love?
So it just essentially says that, and then it goes like Scott Brown, Special D, and then the actual vocals themselves start here. So the way you are, you know, as you all, you know, recognise. And then we have it sort of like build up on a chorus. So the chorus is kind of like building up. And then we kind of have it like drop. And then we have the chorus coming back in again. So it'll come back in for 16 bars. And then we have 16 bars where it's just like the full melody. So the full melody, the pianos, the piano chords, that the harp sound, the harp and pad and the bass and everything. And then every so often we've got this would you save me, would you save me, I go crazy, I go crazy. And then what we do is we go back into like how the intro bass is just here. And then we have the says come back in. So the say. We have that for 8 bars, and then on the following 8 bars, this is where I've added what I call the clever part, because this is where I've learned a new FL Studio feature. And we've actually the song starts to get slower. So the song itself starts to get slower, and you can see that it slows down, and then we come into this little breakdown, and I put this kind of like acoustic drum kick in here, so it's like an acoustic drum. We've got the little MC guy comes back in. He's just, you know, are you ready for the crazy love? Pianos and everything's all still in, but it's like slowing down to something like, I think it's slowed down to something like 120 BPM from 100 and from 170. So it goes like proper mega slow, and it goes into almost like a slow house groove, with like an acoustic drum, a little drum loop which I'll play to you. Is And obviously that plays faster, in itself, and that obviously got slowed down, so it sounds like.
Are you ready for some crazy love?
So that like proper, in itself went really slow in itself, and then we have it sort of like gradually build back up, and it starts getting faster as it's building back up, and then it almost does build back up, and then it drops, and then it comes back in just back at the normal 170 speed, where you've got like 16 bars of just like everything without the vocals, and then we've got 16 bars of everything. The chorus comes back in for one last go, and then you essentially, you go into the outro. So when you've got that last 16 bars and the chorus comes in, you press and play on your next hardcore track. You're getting it in time. You're getting it in beat, and then you bring in the fader up, and then as you're about to go into the outro of the Elysium, you'd come into the intro of the next track, and you'd double drop the basses, and you'd be inside the mix. You'd be in the mix and blend, whatever you want to call it. So I'm really impressed with this track. I just like I say, I like how it sounds. I like the whole concept of the track. It's just, again, it's one of them nice versions that if I'm playing a hardcore set anywhere, or I'm booked anywhere and play a hardcore set, I've got this my own little version of it to play, that's going to tell its own story amongst other remixes out there, and it might be one of those where people would wonder like, oh, what version is this version? And when it slows down and stuff, it'll just do something a little bit different in the set as well. So I'm hoping that it'll do quite well in that sense. But like I say, because it's such a legendary track, and I know Scott Brown himself is not a big fan of people just remixing his tracks, and I suppose in a way, like, you make all these absolute bangers back in the day, you don't want people sort of like ruining what they were. But I know sometimes at the same time it can also give your original track credit as well. But I can understand, where he comes from. And to be fair, I think this is the first Scott Brown track. It's not the first Scott Brown track that I've ever remixed, actually. But it's the first one that I've like properly gone through and definitely like proper worked on, and like proper tried to get it finished. I did do another bounce version. I did a bounce version of another Scott Brown track ages ago, and there was just quite a lot of things I couldn't get right with it, so I just sort of sacked it off. But again, it's not always a bad thing to have like your own tracks that you just don't release, because like I say, you've got your own versions of these tracks. And you could potentially have that banger that no one else has got, and you can be quite special, and you can whip it out in your sets only, and people will look forward to your sets because hopefully you'll play that version, whereas they're kind of like, if everyone was playing it, the tune would just get overplayed, it'd become boring, and I guess it'd just come under like the category of just another remix, whereas you have this exclusive one. I had I had a real banging version of Elysium at the weekend, and I don't know what version it was. I've not heard that version before, but it was a proper sort of up like a Clublandy vibe to it, and then it slowed down really slow, and then it like sped back up, and it was a banging remix. And then they'll look online, and they won't find it because this title's not even got anything to do with the track title, within the tune or anything like that. There's no Elysium in the track title. There's no Scott Brown. It's just literally a remix that I will never release, and I think I do stand by that. I mean, I guess like if ever in the future I was to do, say, like a USB stick or something, I'd do like one that would have all my well, I do like one stick, but there'd be like a Mad Ash folder that would have like all the hardcore stuff, and then there'd be like a Noble folder, an Ash Noble folder, that would have all the bounce versions, a Noble folder. And I suppose up in them folders there would be a folder within them folders that would title unreleased, and it would have like unreleased stuff in it. And people that only buy the stick would be the only people to obviously have that version of the tune. But other than that, I would probably never do anything with it, apart from play it myself, because I do quite I do quite like it myself. So anyway, that is gonna do it for this stream. That's gonna do it. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, share, and yeah, we'll see you soon. Let me know what you think. I've just clicked edit by mistake.